Welcome to DTLT today. I promised everyone on Twitter that we'd be making television magic. Just you and me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Is this going to be our stepping into porn?
No, not yet. We don't have.
I'm glad. I'm not ready for it yet.
We don't have.
I don't have the proper equipment.
Oh, jeez. We don't have the viewers to monetize it.
No,
yet.
we really don't.
We don't.
I don't think we'll ever really get the viewers to monetize that.
Yeah, pay-per-view. I might get a Chipotle meal out of it.
I think you're thinking big if you think you can get a Chipotle meal. Noise or Miss is the only one who'll do it. It will be not out of any desire. It will be out of some sense of pity.
Sympathy. I feel sorry for them. I'm not actually going to watch the screen.
Let me turn it off.
So it's just you and me in the office today.
Yeah,
we lost one to the cause earlier today, speaking of Chipotle.
We did Chipotle twice in a row, and that was too much for Andy.
Back-to-back's tough.
He had to go home early.
Back-to-back Chipotle is a little bit tough on your stomach.
The idea that he had to take a half day because the Chipotle just ran through him.
Well, and he's got quite the trip ahead of him. He's headed up to Syracuse.
Oh yeah, so this is Thanksgiving. It starts for those of you Canadians. Our Thanksgiving weekend starts now.
They don't celebrate Thanksgiving?
They do, but earlier, like end of October, early November.
Listen,
and I don't know what it's about. I think it's like, hey, thank you, French people, for speaking French. It doesn't really have much. They didn't do anything.
They don't celebrate colonization of the United States. Why not?
Well, because they never got freedom.
Yeah,
they're still a Commonwealth.
Understood.
They're still under the heel.
Yeah. So Andy's going up to Syracuse. You're not traveling at all, are you?
I am not traveling at all. I told my family in New York I'm not coming.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with my mother's favorite holiday was Thanksgiving because that was the whole idea of the family gets together and everyone's there and we used to have it, and her family, I have 45 cousins on one side and I have another 25 on another. So I have 70 cousins. And my mother had 9 brothers and sisters. My father had 5. So this huge family that we used to go, and there's huge, literally could be up to 100 people at a Thanksgiving dinner. And we would have them at our house sometimes, and other family would have them there. And I like Thanksgiving. I always thought it was a fun holiday, and it didn't really have much. Its meaning was kind of around family, eating, taking stock.
Football.
But it was a lot of what Christmas was supposed to be. Right. So there's some kind of dissonance. And then Thanksgiving came into hey, 1 month to Christmas, so after Thanksgiving, get ready to shop. And it's kind of lost all of its meaning because everyone talks about Black Friday or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know. Me and Antonella probably won't really celebrate it in the same way. Mm-hmm. I like it when family's around and people around. I like to celebrate it and watch football and do all that. But I think we're going to go up to the Shenandoah Mountains and just kind of hang around there and have some food there, bring some picnic. And if it's a nice day, do that. If not, we'll go to D.C. or something.
Yeah, so, I'm not traveling either. My wife, not for Thanksgiving, but as sort of an early type Christmas in December, she's going to be going down to visit my family, but I'm going to be away at a conference that weekend, so it wasn't going to work out for me. But most of my family is sort of local. They're close to Richmond. They're in Chesapeake, so they're about 2 hours away. And my brother's the furthest. He's down in North Carolina, and normally he can't come up because they're in retail. And they're just blacked out. They can't take vacation. But he was able to make it work to where he could come up for a weekend, but it was the weekend I was going to be gone. So my wife's going to go down there with the kid and do that thing with the family. But other than that,
But you're not going to do it this weekend?
No.
This weekend, what are you going to do?
Eat. Eat a lot, watch some football. I don't know if I'll do the Black Friday thing. I've only done it once. I've never actually participated in it. And last year was the first time I did it, and that was only because my wife's father, my father-in-law, wanted to buy one of those like cheap laptops from Walmart, and I was like, you know what? I've got nothing else going on. I'm willing to stay up overnight and do it just to see what it was like.
Yeah.
So I had an iPad with me, and I was just kind of chilling at Walmart, and I
Were
kind
you
of
hashtagging it? Like
I was
up all night?
yeah, updating.
Black Richmond.
Yeah, but it was kind of goofy. I overshot it because I got there like 11:30, thinking at night, and they don't like release these things till like 4 or 5 in the morning, maybe even 6 if I recall.
So you and your father-in-law. Let me get this right.
No,
You
just
and-
me.
Just you.
Yeah, I went. Yeah,
By
I
yourself?
went by myself for him. He gave me the money to buy it for him.
At 11:30 at night of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So Thanksgiving, you had eaten, you had
Wednesday
watched your
night.
football, and 11:30 that night, you drove to Walmart
Yeah.
and you sat. That is my wife's greatest nightmare.
it
That is her single greatest nightmare.
It was-
If she
it was
told
quite
her
that
that, she would
realization.
run out of the house screaming.
Yeah,
Now, I'm an American. I can understand this.
it wasn't much. It was kind of boring. I didn't have to wait outside. That's one. So I got to like wait in the pharmacy section of Walmart, but it was boring.
Oh, wait, some consolation.
yeah,
You
well-
were in the pharmacy section of Walmart.
No, it is a consolation when you look outside of these Best Buys and people are setting up tents at like, the morning. Like some people don't even celebrate Thanksgiving because they're setting up tents in Best Buy.
Occupy Black
Occupy
Friday.
Best Buy. Yeah, Occupy Black Friday.
Yeah,
and
Black
they're out
Friday.
in the cold, and if it's raining like it is today,
Okay, so let's do a little genealogy here. So, you're a bit younger than me, like a decade or
just a little.
Do you ever Do you ever remember a time when the Friday after Thanksgiving wasn't Black Friday? Because that is a recent development
Is it?
historically.
Yeah, I don't.
So it was probably in the early '90s that Black Friday started to emerge as this thing.
yeah.
Because in the '80s and in the '70s, it wasn't like people were like Thanksgiving, then Black Friday.
Yeah.
This is like one of those manufactured holidays. It's
Well,
not
and
a holiday. It's like it's a shopping day.
And we have another one now, Cyber Monday. You heard of
That's
this?
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that came along in the past couple of years, and it was like,
Came
they've
along
got
like
their Black
late
Friday.
'90s, like
yeah.
'99, 2000. I remember when Cyber Mondays came around.
Yeah, because it was like, we can't have people buying stuff online the exact same day. We have to have them have their own separate day to buy stuff.
I would be very interested if anyone out there could, buy nothing Friday, which is usually how we do it. We don't do shop. I mean, sometimes we don't shop for Christmas at all.
Oh, we were
which is
talking about
another
Buy
thing.
Nothing Day, the Adbusters campaign
That's
that
right.
they do.
That's right.
Because we were curious about whether or not the Occupy movement would have any effect on it at all. Which I thought was kind of funny. I was looking into my Twitter stream, and Julia, you'll like this. Julia's in the chat, and she mentioned Buy Nothing Day, which is this sort of movement that's, sort of boycotting the Black Friday thing purposefully. And and she was mentioning, I wonder if Buy Nothing Day will have any effect on sales. And then right after that in my Twitter stream, someone else said, check out the Black Friday deals at Target.
That's right.
And it was just one of
That
those
weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Charlie, and I wonder if this is the great Charlie Rockert, but I'm not sure. Charlie says use of the term Black Friday started around 1966, which is amazing to me, and began to see broader use outside of Philadelphia. So it started in Philadelphia around 75. Coming from Long Island in New York, Charlie Rocket.
That's what you said.
I really don't know if we really had Black Friday as a concept in the 80s on Long Island. I can't remember it. I can remember it in the 90s being like, really? And being kind of a little bit freaked out because on Long Island, I don't know if you remember this, a couple of years ago, outside of Green Acres Mall, which I just was close to, staying at my friend's house in Long Island, someone was killed on the morning of Black Friday.
Really?
Because the security guard opened the door and the crowd stampeded in and someone died. And that was on Long Island.
Well,
and that was big on Twitter. I remember that came up.
And the more I was thinking
Which
about
I think is like, that's like us at our animal worst.
it's awful. And the sad part about it is I was thinking about this the other day. At least in terms of technology purchases, which a lot of what you're buying these days is technology for these things. It's TVs, it's computers, it's portable devices. Like everything is a piece of technology in some way, and it's all outdated. If not by Christmas time, by January. Like all of these amazing deals that you're getting on Black Friday, by January, February, it's like that's the normal price, and then a couple months after that, it's like, oh, you paid that last year.
Yeah.
I look at some of the deals that were around last year, and like
my wife has been looking into Buy Nothing Day. I mean,
Yeah.
as an aunt and me and I have too. And I mean, we don't usually we're not major consumers, so that's not really our. It's outside of Chipotle,
yeah.
and so that's not really our problem. I would be a much bigger consumer if I had money. I'll be honest with you. I have no problems if I had money to consume, but
Well, that was
like
only-
everyone else who's not consuming these days, there's real reasons why not.
It is a bad timing, isn't it? It's never on the first of the month. It's like at the end of the month, it's like, oh, suddenly I'm going to go buy appliances. It's not happening.
Oh, and Canadians plan huge, gigantic shopping trips to New York City. And I would look, I have no problem going to New York City, not on Black Friday, obviously,
Yep.
but going to New York City, going around shopping, seeing the city, it's awesome. I'm not against shopping per se, but I think everybody is against, and Black Friday has become this emanation of it, this horrific kind of, almost like, look at humans at their most animalistic around consumption.
Yeah.
It's like they're not fighting over some ravenous lion that they need to eat because they're cannibals or Neanderthals.
You know
They're
what?
fighting over goddamn iPads.
I can
It's
make
a sick
There's
thought.
another parallel though, which is it's pathetic for me to bring up, but I'm going to because I went with my wife last week to go see a movie that I'm just going to put it out there. She wanted to see the Twilight movie.
Yeah, I've seen everyone but
And-
this one.
And so we went. Luckily, we took the day off on Friday because she wanted to see this, and we had some errands to run and things to do. So we went to like the 11:30 a.m. show. It's not.
What?
Well, everybody's in school, so it was the perfect time to not have to deal with all of the kids.
Wait, you were supposed to be working.
I was.
You're going out.
How do you like that, boss?
You're matineeing Twilight? Jesus, you're
No.
trying to relive your 11th grade years?
It was us and the housewives of Richmond City, and the poor uneducated. So that was the mixture crowd.
Which you were a part of.
Yeah, but it wasn't the but you didn't have the younger crowd. But even at that 11:30 in the morning,
How many
and
people were in the theater?
Well, there were maybe 25 people, but we were waiting outside because the theater hadn't opened yet. And it's this idea that it's like everybody's waiting around. Is there a line? Isn't there a line? Should we be in a line? Who's going first? And I'm just like, there's going to be room for everybody. But you could see certain people, it was important enough to them where it was like they were staging where they needed to be, and they were knocking on the door. One woman was getting upset with the movie theater because they hadn't opened yet, and hey, we're waiting out here, and we're ready to go in and get our seats, and why can't you just let us go in and get our seats? And like, they don't open for another 15 minutes, and it was like end of the world at 11:30 in the morning to see the Twilight movie. It's just weird. I can see the same thing at concerts.
Okay.
I go see a concert and there's like the gates open and it's like this mad rush and everybody becomes animals.
Okay, look, a couple things here.
I
One
knew
thing is you start off this show talking about you were all-nighting it in the Walmart fucking pharmacy to get a cheap laptop.
Yeah.
So strike one. Strike two.
I'm
You're
a-
up at 11:30 in the morning to go see Twilight in some Richmond theater with 25 other deadbeats and hippie nostalgic wannabes.
I'm a Renaissance man.
you
It's a
you are living the life of a true American.
I am.
And then after each of these events, I hope you went to McDonald's
It's-
and got a salad.
It's okay as long as it's hipster ironic. So as long as you approach it from a standpoint of I'm just trying to figure out like blend in with the common folk, with the serfs. I'm just trying to be one of the peasants. And
Like Liz Professor and Julia said, you're a 7th grade boy. No,
am.
7th grade girl.
Look.
That's awesome. Know what you need to do to
do I
get
need
to
to do?
deal with this? You need to sing karaoke.
Yeah.
You need to get a good karaoke.
I'm working on trying to get out of the in-laws' house, and as soon as that happens,
That's
the
right.
karaoke,
Well, that's right.
the movie nights, that'll all happen.
Tim's working on moving closer to Fredericksburg, obviously,
See,
from Richmond,
Yeah.
and you got a couple of things in play
Yeah.
right now. So good luck with
Probable.
that.
yeah,
That would be nice, a little holiday in news to find out you might have landed something here.
yeah, that would be cool.
Who's the front runner now?
Some people are suggesting that I should move in with you, Casabava.
Yeah, I would, but I think I might have I have temporarily the cellar reserved. in case some people who don't work and like to travel
Yeah.
ever decide to get a freaking job.
Well, and I was
Deadbeat
also
nostalgic
told,
hippies.
and I was also told there wouldn't be room for my wife and child.
No,
and
just you.
that makes it a little problematic. I can see some tension.
Actually, you know what?
Possibly
The deal
arising.
was we wanted your wife and child to
But
make
not-
them safe and sound, but you would need to forge for yourself.
I'll sleep on the cuddle.
So
couch.
Emily,
It's good.
Sydney, they're fine.
Yeah.
They're protected.
Hmm.
You could stay in the man shed and get visiting privileges back and forth into the house.
Sleep on the toilet. So, do you have any other like traditions or things that your family does typically every year, or do you just kind of play it by ear?
Well, not really for, Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, like the Christmas time, the holiday season, if as it were.
Okay, we never went away for Thanksgiving or Christmas. It was always on Long Island.
Uh-huh.
It was always close, and like I said, my mom had a huge family, and sometimes we see them. But see, there was some real tensions in my family, particularly from my mom's side, because my mom's family was all very rich.
Mm-hmm.
They came from supermarket money, the first supermarket in the U.S., and my mom and one of her other sisters, actually two of her other sisters, were kind of, I would say, the black sheep. Like, they didn't have any money, or they blew all their money they inherited,
Mm-hmm.
and they had married beneath them, or whatever the family thinks. So there was that tension. So going there was always a tension of class for me. It was always a tension of my rich cousins and, whatever they did. And I just never liked it. And that's why always class, I think, played such a big part into my thinking at graduate school, because I always hated, being that guy in that family.
This is very Christmas Carol. You should write a book.
Well, no, I mean, there's stories there. I mean, not that it's not a matter of them being bad people or anything, but you just felt it.
Yeah, the
because of the
tension.
way, and Long Island is so very class-orientated in and of itself. I mean, it's so wealthy or not in its own right. So it makes for interesting stuff. So
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas for me were always kind of caught up in the tensions and, the panic. So my mom was like pretty hardcore, like manic depressive, and she also had disassociation. So at certain times she would just disassociate, and she would go into what we call a panic attack, and she'd just shut down. Well, my mom went crazy around Christmas. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, it was like one big mania. She would go out, she'd buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff for us. We would have the biggest Christmas, and we found out she couldn't afford any of it. And like people would come and be like, "Give us the toys back," or "What are you doing with this?" And like, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And so we had this huge mania surrounding it. And then my mom, usually after Christmas, just checked out psychologically for like a month or two, and went to the hospital. So there was always this, like, Christmas was always a very kind of unsettled time, because psychologically there was almost so much unsettled in my life around it.
Yeah.
So I always like, if I can get through it in one piece, I'm always very happy. And I love Christmas. I love going crazy for the kids and doing stuff. And I loved all the Christmases my mom did. But for her, it meant so much more than just, like, she was all part of that Black Friday and all that. Like, she was locked into the consumerist part.
Yeah.
And I think it had so much to do with her own tension. So when I think of this time of year, I kind of think of, like, those very tensions and struggles around family and the people I love that made me and kind of still inform who I am, which is, I think, for most people, what this, if you think about family, is all about.
I've known a lot of people who they associate this time of year with stress and with as a part of growing up. For me, it's like the exact opposite. It's just that typical, like, oh, the warm, the music's playing in the background, my mom's got cider cooking on the stove or something. But it's that's just because that was my childhood growing up.
Yeah.
Was just that Christmas was just this jolly time where you could always hear holiday music playing, and so now I like to drink eggnog and hang out. And
so you kind of went for, like, the postcard, like, this is how it should be approached.
I did. My life is the Thomas Kincaid portrait of the Christmas cottage.
You're like the Norman Rockwell
I am.
of, like, hey, here's my Christmas.
Right, except
Are you saying that to make me feel bad?
except I'm drinking a lot of eggnog in the background.
So,
too.
like, you're not only jolly and everything's warm and good,
but
you're trying to make me feel bad as an extension of your little goodness.
I'm just preparing you for what to expect, because in the coming weeks I'm going to be pretty unbearable as this time rolls around.
You've done a good job of that so far, yeah. So I can imagine it's only going to get worse. You're going to come in all jovial. Oh, finish my work!
Yeah. I may come dressed as Santa one day. It might just happen.
Yeah, it's a good time of year. I mean, but like I said, I'm all caught up with all that crazy shit.
So, but we talked about we need to do a Christmas special. So
No, now I'm not.
now
gonna
you're
do
not.
one.
I've ruined it.
Now
for
I'm
you.
not. No Christmas.
We will
special.
do it.
I will not talk about Thanksgiving or Christmas ever again.
Poor Jim.
Mm.
All right, folks.
All right.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Thanksgiving special. It ain't that special.
Yeah.
Don't give anyone anything.
Such a Scrooge.